Hello, everybody. Happy Sunday, and welcome back to Jenny from the Chopping Block. This is Recipes for Success in Love. We've done our pivot, and now I have this beautiful couple that I've been following for over a year now that I want to share with you all. So, Rick and Shashi, welcome to Jenny from the Chopping Block. It's so good to have you here.
Thank you so much, Jenny, and
Welcome.
it's so great to be here.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you, Jenny.
You're welcome. So I wanted to highlight you guys tonight and just talk about, like, obviously I look up to you, and it's just been such a beautiful thing to see you guys work together and create this successful business together. And, sometimes it's just those playful videos where you're dancing and just like, it's just super inspiring. So I have a list of questions I want to ask, but at first I just want to highlight what you guys have going on and the contributions that you're bringing to the world. So if you could share, yeah, awesome.
Sure. So I'll start. So right now, me personally, I started to lead meditations. It started as doing it at work. I work in a particle physics lab, so we do the hard sciences there. And I just had this calling to sort of bring some more spirituality into and start to make that blend. And so I started offering meditations, lunchtime meditations, and the response was great. People really, start to love it. A lot of people started to attend in person, and well, then COVID happened, and it went online, and it was also a beautiful opportunity to share it with the whole world, rather than just in an auditorium in our science lab. It's a place is called Triumph. We have the world's largest cyclotron there. But it was,
and where is that located?
That's out in Vancouver, University of British Columbia, on site there, and it's Canada's National Particle Physics and Nuclear Research Lab.
Whoa, I did not know that.
It's a very cool place. When I go to work, it's like my playground. It's like, I'm going to my playground. It's so fun. But so what happened is I took these meditations online, and then I was able to share it with the world. So I started to put them on Zoom and then stream it to Facebook, and I got a big response, and people are really, really enjoying it, and I feel I'm really adding some value into people's lives, and it's my gift to the world. And then secondly, well, we have a business, and I think we'll talk more about that. But I'm also leading a private men's group right now, and I'm so lit up by it that I'm creating a second one that's going to be for the general public, and that's going to be available in January.
Beautiful.
And so I'm just doing the all the sign up process and all that for that now. So and so I'm thrilled about that, and I just think the world really needs it right now. The mission is to evolve our men's masculinity to be that loving, caring support that's going to take us into the next, as we expand consciousness, and as we transition from fear to love, we're going to need leaders, masculine leaders, who have that sensitive, caring side to them, to lead the way, and that's my mission.
That's gorgeous.
Help men do that.
And I've definitely sat in a few of your meditations, so I know it's definitely a gift that you have. My question is, did you see it going this way before COVID, or was it just something you did at your workplace? Did you see yourself?
It was just something I was offering to my coworkers, as a way to bring, just as a way to share, and it's an open environment, and we do have incentives to do these kinds of things. So but yeah, I didn't see it opening up to everybody and being live.
It started
on
with the
Facebook.
7 days of healing challenge that you did.
That happened
right at COVID.
Yeah,
right at COVID. Yeah.
Wow.
So when COVID happened, we shut down, and I could just feel the fear in the world, especially in my communities. Just even on the street, it was like very visceral, that fear, and I just thought, okay, I'd love to do something, and I decided to do a 7 days of healing meditation. So we went for 7 days every day, and the response was incredible.
Beautiful. That's amazing. And it's
Yeah,
like,
and now it's gone back to I couldn't keep that up, but it's gone back to a regular meditation Mondays. It's at noon PST every Monday.
Beautiful. And can I share that link in the caption?
Yes.
Awesome. All right.
Yeah,
and Shashi,
Yeah.
what are you up to in this beautiful, crazy world?
Well, so I actually have a full-time job. I'm a corporate market researcher by profession, but I've had this calling that I know I meant for more, and I know I wanted to serve the world in some bigger fashion. And what came across in front of me about 10 months, 12 months ago was a business that was very advanced anti-aging products and for inside and outside the body. And so I started taking these products because I was starting to feel the signs of aging. I had my 50th birthday around the corner at the time, and was, just feeling a lot of different things starting to go. And so this was very, very inspiring for me to try these products that totally transformed my energy levels within my body, and then my skin, my hair. And I started to get very inspired by the distributors in the network that were already doing this because of the way they were aging into their 60s and 50s, and the amount of energy that they had and the positivity. And that was really inspiring for me. So I joined that business, and we went down to, sorry?
What's the business called again?
So it's very advanced anti-aging supplements that reset the genes in the body, target aging at the source, and skincare, skin devices, in-home skin devices that cleanse and treat the pores, and then lift the skin and firm the skin, all within like 2-minute treatments inside the home. And we do this together, and we also now have a global team of 10 to 12 people that are quite serious about doing what we're doing. So now we're coaching them. So it's mindset coaching, and coaching them to overcome the fear of rejection so they can get out there and talk to people. And, it's just so awesome, because what I didn't know it would
It's
turn
branded
into
as
this.
Stay Young with Rick and Shashi.
That's right.
You guys are looking young and gorgeous, so it's working.
Yes. Yeah. So that's how we branded it. And the products are in 56 countries. And we've just partnered with this scientific company. There's 75 scientists that develop the products. And so we just now have our basically what we look to do is help people transform their lives that are looking for more and looking to use more of their potential, looking to feel better, look younger, and also transform their income. I've now matched my corporate pay doing this side hustle. So it's really, really exciting, because it's just at this stage now where we're in this huge growth, and we need to hire people to help us, like with the social media stuff, and I need some domestic help now. And it's just like growing fast. So
yeah, and that's pretty surprising. 26 years in the corporate job, and then 10 months in this business to match that sort of income. So pretty incredible.
Yeah,
that's remarkable, amazing. And I see you guys really support each other and everything that you do, which is beautiful.
Yeah, so we've been through transitions in our relationship, and probably the first UPW Unleash the Power we did last year with Tony Robbins in 2019. We were at kind of a little standstill in our relationship, where we were kind of doing a little disconnected, kind of doing different things at the time. And since that Unleash the Power, we've been working on our relationship and taking it to a whole new level. And the business came after we had started the work on the relationship. We had actually started doing relationship coaching for other couples, and then this business came on, and we still see ourselves doing relationship coaching moving forward in a much bigger way. Yeah, it's just something that we want to do, and we love doing it, and it just we learn something every time that we're talking to other couples, and it's just so fulfilling for our hearts. So yeah.
Jennifer, if I could add to that, I'd love to share that moment she's talking about in the UPW. We were we've been married 27 years now, and we have 3 kids. So we've gone through different stages in our life and in our relationship. And so when we got to UPW, we were, our kids didn't need our support as much anymore, and we're doing our own hobbies. I was spending lots more time working on my cars and playing soccer, and she was doing her fitness stuff. And so we went to UPW, and we were sitting there. You get clear on what you want and how you want your life to go, and we're taking notes and looking at her notes, and just, they're not lining up, right? Like, she's going that way and I'm going that way. And we actually started to talk about what is our future going to look like. Looks like we're going in 2 different directions, and we actually came to a point where I was like, oh man, like, this is not good, right? We went home that night. It was a quiet evening. And then the next day, Tony asked this question. He goes, what one thing could you change in your life that would have the biggest impact? What small thing could you change that would have the biggest impact in your life? And I thought, well, if I made my relationship with Shashi my number 1 priority, that would have a huge impact in my life. And then in that moment there, I wrote that down, and I just decided that's what I was going to do. And just like that, they say you make a decision and your life changes. I've made lots of decisions since then that's changed my life, but that took us on a whole different trajectory. We had a pretty good relationship, but it was up and down, and just like, it was average. Yeah. Maybe a little above average, but it's extraordinary now.
Beautiful. Just by making that, do you think that was like the one thing that really shifted?
For me, it was.
Yeah, and then there were so many things that came after that, because we ourselves got a relationship coach, and very deep kind of relationship coach that coached at the soul level, and that's what we needed, is the depth. Like, I personally feel that it's the work that's done within the inner work that transforms a relationship. Because so many relationships, and me, I'm guilty of this, where for many years it was always Rick. It was always like, if he would just do this, if he would just do that, like, he's not doing this. And I never looked truly at what I was doing, like, truly, and took a good look at it. And I had a huge blind spot there. And it was just this whole thing around, it can't be me, because then I'd be wrong. And if I was wrong, like, oh my God, like, wow. And so having the consciousness and the awareness around, it's like, there's no right and wrong, there just is.
Oh my God, thank you for saying that. That's like my mantra lately.
Yeah, but it took me a while to get to that point, because for 49 years I had lived in a right and wrong mentality. And, I had to really go back to some painful places to undo many of the learnings that were running my life, like the subconscious voice that propelled me to live the way I did, to do the things the way I did, to interpret things the way I did. Those were all programmed voices from when I was very, very, very young. And so I had to do the work that was not fun work. I mean, it was painful places to go, but needed to experience the pain in order to experience the joy. And I was keeping the pain at bay for the longest time. and just kind of living in this like, you know, this like smaller spectrum of where the emotions can go. But now that I've gone to the deeper painful parts, I can go so much higher in the joy. So yeah, that's where I think for me, a big part of it was transforming within myself, and that transformed the relationship.
There's so many like great key points that you've mentioned that I've learned, and I'm diving into this topic, and this is like my main focus right now. And just like the fact that you did the work, that it's sometimes painful, but it allowed you to feel those feelings even deeper. And honestly, like not knowing you too well, I know you from all the content that you've been putting out, and you guys both, you're always shining. It's always authentic. Like you could just see the joy that you're bringing into what you're doing. So I just want to thank you, because it's definitely inspiring.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So I want to know, how did you guys meet?
we were in the same nursery. No.
Your version first, and then I'll give my version.
No, I actually I was DJing a party. I'm a DJ.
Cool.
Out of work DJ now.
Yeah, no events going on right now, but
yeah. I was doing music for a party, and so Shashi showed up there. I was like, and it was a family party, so I was, supposed to should have known everyone who was going to be there. And who's that? I thought she was cute, and then she came over and she started asking about songs, and do you have this song, and do you have that? And then she went back to her seat. Then she came back and said, "Oh, can I request this or that?" And then she started looking through my albums. Back then, it was like record crates and albums.
Milk crates.
Yeah, milk crates. and I pulled up a chair. I said, "Well, have a seat." And then she sat down and she's looking through it, and we just started to chat. Then we, had a couple of dances together. I thought she was still cute. And so I asked her for her phone number, and I think her sister actually gave it to me. She didn't. You didn't give it to me. I asked her sister for her phone number.
Who was 13 at the time.
Yeah. She didn't know any better.
That is amazing.
Yeah. So my version of that was the week before that party. I was at a different party. It was a family party get together in Penticton, which is like a few hours from where we live. And I had just broken up with my boyfriend at the time. And so my younger cousins were like telling me about this party coming up, and there's going to be this DJ there, and he's really, really good looking. And like, he's really nice and polite. And so I thought, well, maybe I'll go. And then I found out my ex-boyfriend was going to be at the same party. And I'm like, well, I'll be there. Yeah. And so initially I thought, okay, well, I'm going to go up and talk to the DJ and look at all, check out the music. But initially it was to make him, to be completely honest, it was because my ex-boyfriend was there and I wanted to make him notice that I was doing this, 18-year-old mind. So I was checking out the albums and everything, looking through. And then, yeah, exactly how he described it. He said, pull up a chair. And then I sat down, we were chatting, and then after he got the phone number, and I still remember my sister coming back and ripping off like a piece of lined paper, right? And back in those days, like it was 7 digits for a phone number, right? And with a pencil, like writing it on like a piece of paper and going up and handing it to him. And I didn't think he'd call. And then the next day he called, and I remember talking on my rotary phone, like with the dial, like the round, and we had the 25-foot cord.
You're making us sound old.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was funny because my mom, because I wasn't allowed to talk to boy, like it was like always very hush hush. culturally. So I had to hide like the phone away in the closet. Like I was sitting in my closet talking to him that night. And it just was this long, like we talked for hours, I think, that night, that first night. So yeah, so that's my version.
Beautiful. So she had her eye on the prize, Rick.
That's right.
And Rick thought you were cute. He mentioned it like 4 times.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
my question is, Shashi, was it your family party?
It was actually Rick's family's party.
Awesome.
It was, but
Okay.
it was very distant for me, very distant related. Yeah.
Beautiful. Because I just actually watched a special that Jay Shetty and his wife did, I think it was today, about how they met and how you know, his wife became really close with his sister. And then when they first started dating, they didn't go to like restaurants. They would go to like their family's houses. And
Yeah.
it reminded me of my previous relationship because, you know, when you're around your family and your friends, like it's really hard not to be yourself.
Right. Yeah.
You know? So you're really
Yeah.
falling in love and getting to know that person like at their core. Like there's no like interview process where you're sitting in front of each other at a restaurant and you're trying to, you know, perform your best and say all the right things. It's like when you're with your family, odds are you're probably gonna be who you are.
Yeah, you're gonna see.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
beautiful.
So we couldn't do that part because when we met in those days, like it was pretty taboo to even be dating and talking to each other. Like arranged marriage. I was the first one of my out of all my cousins to not have an arranged marriage. So I kind of like went through a lot of like turmoil in my family just to be together. Like we had to go through a lot.
Trailblazer.
Yeah.
She paved the way.
Yeah.
Right.
And they all the families fell in love with each other eventually, but it took some like
Courage.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I want to touch into that, but I want to ask you both. So, Shashi, you heard about Rick. What was your first impression when you met him? Like you heard he was a gentleman, you heard he was, you know, respectful and nice and handsome. What was your like first reaction? Did you have that like instant like what was it like?
Yeah, no, I thought he was really cool. I thought he was very calm, like very mature, and he was a good dancer. And he was caring too, like just he went out of his way to go and get a chair and like very courteous and polite.
Beautiful. So you would say that's his X factor?
Yeah, good listener, definitely. Like very good listener right off the bat. Like I felt like he was tuned into what I was talking about. And yeah, I think like that whole thing, like very multi, like worked in a science lab, DJing, you know, good dancer, like all these kind of like things that didn't really all go together. Like he was unique.
Love it.
Yeah.
And Rick, what was Sashi's X factor for you?
Yeah, so right in the beginning, she wore this really metallic, green metallic.
Most guys are like, she was hot.
Yeah, yeah, I didn't want to say that. No, I thought she was really, I thought she was really fun. Like she looked like she was having fun. Yeah, I really like the way, you know, she looked, like the way she was put together, and so friendly. Like, you know, she, you know, at that, you know, I was young or, you know, early, late teen, early 20s or whatever. And, you know, a lot of women, I could experience some, you know, some snobbiness or like not the time of day. And she was, you know, very like friendly, very open. So, you know, it was easy to connect with her. So I love that about her. And today, she just gets stuff done. Like, you know, something needs to be done. She's like, powerful that way. It's something needs to be done. Boom, there it is. Let's do it.
Beautiful, beautiful. And Shashi, today, what could you say about Rick that is like a X factor? is it similar to what you saw when you first met him, or is it something deeper?
Yeah, no, I think a lot of those things are still there, like those initial things that I saw, and then it's just grown. He's grown so much in so many different ways, and become just more assured in himself and more confident, and always like puts other people first. Like if somebody needs something done, you know, like just yesterday he went to go install a security system for my brother's house, you know, and will every week go and visit his mom. Like he's always looking to be a source of light for other people, so, and help them in whatever way. And then he has all these extra skills, like handyman skills, and can do all these things around the house and fix things. And so we rarely have to hire contractors, and people just like, you know, we've always got some neighbor coming over, hey Rick, can I borrow this, or can I get this, or can I get this tool? Like there's a constantly stream of people like phoning, or, you know, because he's that guy.
Beautiful. That's so sweet. I love you guys. You're awesome. So, I wanted to ask you my next question. Oh, a lot of people said they saw the Jay Shetty video as well. And I think that's huge. I do see a common trend with you guys too about like family. So that's really interesting, because I know I don't know if it's just like a big thing for me, but I think, would you say it's important like in relationships to have that?
Yeah, huge. Like, I mean, we think of our family, like when I think of family, like my kids would describe our family of 14 if you talk to them about family, because it's my siblings, their kids, and my mom, and we like do family vacations together. They've grown up with their cousins, and you know, we do have a very strong sense of family. Rick has 3 siblings. He sees his mom like every week, and like he and his siblings get together there. And yeah, I think family values is huge for both of us. Like, and I think that's just something that just comes through in everything. It's our number one priority.
I think it's also ingrained in our culture as well, like our, you know, like cultural traditions, and you know, that I cherish, that keep the bonds between family close.
Yeah.
But like every family, there's challenges, you know, and I think we try and work through that as much as possible. And the more work we've done on ourselves, we've connected even more with our families and any of the challenges that have come up with that.
I love that you're both saying the importance of like the work that we do for us, like then goes into the relationships we have with others. That's a huge takeaway.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you both for that. I wanted to talk about communication, because that always seems to be, because I ask questions even if I'm not interviewing, to couples that I look up to, and they're always like, communication is key. Like communication is where it's at. I want to ask you what it means to you, the communication you have for each other, and how it's been like since the beginning to now.
Well, since the beginning, it's gone in waves and the stages, and you know, in the beginning it was a lot of curiosity and really getting to know who Shashi was, and how I fit into her life and how she fits into mine. And because we were so young when we started our relationship, we sort of molded each other, or molded into each other. You know, we didn't have these definite like personalities. Yeah, you know, I mean, we did, but they weren't ingrained. You know, we didn't have 20 years of being an adult and then going into a relationship. So in that sense, it was easier. But as we you know, our kids grew up and our commonalities were less and less, we had to find how we really connected. And so, you know, during those times we did like I shut down quite a bit, because I just, you know, she was on planet Venus, right? And I'm on Mars, and so the relearning to open those channels of communication, but not only relearning it, it was actually, I'm coming back to, you know, doing the inner work again. Really allows me to see what's happening below the surface. So in our communication, you know, we're at the surface level, and then there's always something happening below that communication, and we're really starting to tune into what's happening below that surface communication.
So we were in these patterns like of communicating where we'd get to a point of conflict, and where I would fill the space, like he'd be shutting down and I'd be filling it with more words, more yelling, and more like, trying to get him to pay attention. Because for me, I was getting triggered by being ignored. I had no idea that's what was going on at the time, because all I could see was he's shutting down. I couldn't see like what was going on for me, and nor was I exploring what was happening for me. But through all those years of getting into these patterns, and what would happen is we would get to that point, and then 4 or 5 days would go by where we'd be in this like state of not communicating properly, and then eventually it would go back and we'd be okay again. But there'd be no real resolving whatever the issue was, or talking it through to find out like what actually happened. And so that's what's changed in the last almost 2 years or year and a half now, is like now we really explore what actually happened for us in that moment. And then I can now see, like, so for those moments where Rick was shutting down, what was going on for me is I'd be feeling ignored. So I'd be trying to get him to like pay attention or talk by like filling the space. Whereas like, now, like when having now being aware of that and knowing, okay, that's just me feeling ignored. And when did I first feel ignored? And it would go back to when I was really young. And so I can love that little girl inside me and fill myself up. I don't need to go to somebody else for that. I can fill myself up and be happy, and then be the light and be the love, and not have to, well, he needs to love me and he needs to pay attention to me. So that's what's really changed in our dynamic in the last little bit.
That's beautiful. And, not only learning, it's almost like you learn how to have an argument, you learn how to fight, as I say. And, do you feel like sometimes you kind of like, once you understand like that, like for Rick, for example, like you understand, like maybe that's why she was doing that. Can you maybe understand her feeling without her saying anything before the next time it happens? Does that happen?
Yeah, so we've worked, as Shashi said, like the last couple of years, we've actually been working on this a lot longer, and it just, we're consistent now in the last couple of years. But yeah, now I can see what's going on for her before she even says anything. Not always, but I'm getting better at doing that. And the anticipation is really key. Well, I won't say key, but it's a lovely trait to have. To be able to anticipate when someone needs support in some way, or knowing what they need.
Yeah, and I also wouldn't ever really say like, I'm feeling this way and I need a hug. I would never say that. Like I would so get like the walls would go up, right? And I would protect my heart. And so now being able to say like, and just being able to go to him and saying, like, and give him a hug or something, and just like be in that embrace. And I don't think twice about it now, but like before, it would be the last thing I would want to do, is because to me it meant being weak. And I was conditioned to be strong because I had so many traumas happen as a child. And it was just my way of being in the world was this resistant kind of, I need to just be on my own, and I don't need him. I don't need anyone. I can just soldier through. When the reality is that's when I most needed the hug, right? But you would never have known that, because I just was so angry, and they would just see an angry face.
So now do you feel like even more understood? Like, I know that's one of our like fundamentals as women, like to feel like we're understood. Do you feel now opening up that line of communication in that way has helped you feel more understood by Rick?
Yes, because I'm being more honest too about what's happening and at the core level. So yeah, I do feel more understood. And I feel like I understand myself. So.
Right? Like I had a huge breakthrough during the last UPW, because I was in a breakout room and I was leading the breakout room, and I was wondering, like, what can the person do to better the situation? And one of the girls said this. It's as easy as that. It's just sometimes asking yourself these questions, like doing the work, digging a little deeper. Because like sometimes we don't even know what we're feeling,
No, we don't. Yeah. And it's so much easier to blame and project and put it on somebody else and not look within. And it's an easy pattern to get into, to get into that. And then once you get into that pattern and the busyness of life takes over, it just becomes this pattern that you don't even really think about, because you're just so used to doing it that way. And it takes something like a UPW, like, to shake you right out of it. Go like, oh, break the pattern.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something you said there caught my ear too, when you said sometimes we don't even know how we're feeling. And, the thought came, well, sometimes it's not even our energy it's that lineage energy that runs through us, right? And sometimes it's not even our anger or our sadness that we're feeling. It's just there generationally.
I've been thinking about that a lot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So interesting. Yeah, sometimes it's like our examples that we were shown, or some kind of, that past generational stuff that we are working through.
Yeah, some of it's conditioned, and some of it's just in our DNA. We
yeah, and it
we
was
bring
really,
it in.
and we see big changes in our relationships with our kids too, because they feel much safer like around us and able to share with us. Like our son, our older one, who's 22, he broke up with his girlfriend of about a year, and it was his first kind of real relationship. And he came over here, and I didn't know what had happened. I just came downstairs, and Rick and Jaden were in this embrace, and Jaden's just crying on Rick's shoulders. And I was just like, oh, and I just went, to be part of that hug. And, before us doing this work, that would have never happened. Like, it would have been like this judgment about the relationship and judging what she did. And, and all of that would have happened. It would have been this whole different kind of conversation around this breakup, rather than just letting him be in his feelings. And so those work that Rick's doing with the men's circles, I just feel like, I can see how it's just changing the dynamics with my son. Like he was, he shared with us things that happened to him in grade 6 and grade 7, that was really hurtful for him, but he didn't share it before, and he's sharing things now. And so this healing and this generational stuff that's passed down, like for us to be able to heal ourselves and impact our next generation, who then impact, everyone around them. It's when we heal within ourselves, we heal the world. We truly do.
Wow, I just got chills. That is gorgeous. Thank you for sharing that. Wow. Whew. Oh, I love you guys. You're my first couple. I'm so grateful.
I was hoping this would share out to our Facebook page, but
it is.
Oh, it is? Okay. I didn't see it on mine.
I
Okay.
shared.
Okay.
So I want to ask, I know time's flying, but I have so many questions for you guys. So when did you know things were getting serious? What was like that deciding point?
Yeah, so I think it was actually the summer of when we started dating. So this was in May when we met, and in the summer we spent a lot of time together that summer, and I didn't feel that it was serious, but I knew that there was more than there was a connection there, that we wanted to pursue. And I think Rick had said to me first that he wanted me to be like not have to worry about anyone else, like, that I don't want to worry about you with any other guy or anything like that. And then I felt like, wow, this is like serious stuff. He's like 19 and he's like talking pretty serious. And I wasn't sure at the time because I was going away to university and I thought like, this is a lot of commitment, right? But I kind of went with it. I think I was at the time, I felt it in my heart, but I was also being very careful, you know, just not like totally. I was stuck in my mind a lot of the time back then too, right? Rather than really like letting my heart kind of open up. And but yeah, I think it was that summer. Like I kind of just knew, but I didn't really acknowledge it truly until I was maybe about 3 years in, and then we started like yeah, I think so. But it was pretty serious.
I was gonna be her summer fling.
Well, that's so funny.
And
Rick, I'm dying to hear your side.
Yeah,
you know that.
I mean, after we met, when we started dating and had all these wonderful experiences, and I felt like a tour guide because we lived in sort of different cities. And so, I would bring her out and show her all of the beautiful sights of Vancouver and, hang out in all these wonderful places. And it was just exciting and really just getting to know each other. But I knew from the beginning that I wanted something serious. Even at that young age, like I wanted, I wanted a serious relationship. And, and then later she told me like she was because she was just graduating high school and going into university, and she thought, oh yeah, I'll date this guy for a while, but once university starts, I got to get serious about my studies. And we dated for 5 years, and it was around year 3 where we really like in my mind it was like, okay, are we going to spend the rest of our lives together?
Mm-hmm.
But what was that feeling? Like, what was it? Just because you knew and you just wanted to make it?
Oh, yeah. So I just thought she was so confident, so cool, like sure of herself, but also vulnerable. I could see that she was vulnerable, but tough at the same time. And I really just love that about her, like how she would 1 minute she could open up and just cry, and then the next minute be
not stay there.
Or just have not a wall, but just have to deal with something and then be okay.
I love that.
Yeah. And
the masculine and the feminine.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I think we were at the. I remember the day we were at the park at a lake, just looking out at the geese and I think you actually asked, so where are we going? Where are we taking this? And it was like, yeah, I think we're going to take it all the way. And that was when, I really knew.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And I always knew, like, I felt like I had a rock, solid. Like I didn't have to worry in any way, like about trust issues or anything like that. Like there was other issues we had. Communication was an issue, but no trust issue. I've never felt like I didn't trust Rick, like from day one. Wow. Like I felt like I had this solid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. And I wanted to ask briefly, going back to family and how, was there like a family influence on your relationship? And
yes, quite a bit.
Yeah.
They were trying to pull us apart.
Yeah.
Oh no. So how did that work out in the long run? Like, did you?
Well, I think it made it stronger, I think, in a lot of ways, because I saw how we have to fight to be together. Like, so it it really made I guess like it would have been easy to not stick together during those times. Like I had a grandfather that was like, there's no way, like he needs to not come around here. Absolutely not. My mom, no, it was just, and my father had passed away earlier. So it was my grandfather, my grandparents were instrumental in our lives. And, so yeah, it was just a lot of cultural norms being broken. Cause like I was born in Canada, but my mom was like, parents were first generation here, and my grandparents had come from India after my dad had passed away. So they were very cultural and very like traditional in their thinking, and just also very worried about our future, given that my dad had passed away. So they're very overprotective. And yeah, so looking back now, I mean, like once I said, I'm doing this, and they did all come around. We had like a huge wedding, 500 people, and it was huge, like all about family for us. Like the family relationships were so key, and without having my mom's support in that little first few months, like it was really like this empty feeling. Like I couldn't have done it without their support. I don't think I could have just said, okay, bye family, I'm going off. I couldn't have done that. I just didn't have that in me. So like my family eventually did come around, but it did take, some time to get to that point. And now like everyone loves him. I mean, like soon after, like he just was like part of the family. Once he was accepted, it was all like, just family, just like we're all one. But it was just the initial part of like getting over that.
Beautiful.
Yeah, because although we don't look at culturally, we're fairly different. I'm from the Fiji Islands as well, so
cool.
Culturally we're a little different.
So they're about 5 generations removed from India, and we're first generation from India to Canada. So culturally there are quite a few differences. And Rick's
what part of India? What part of India?
So my parents are both from the north, both born in Punjab, but most of their family lives in New Delhi.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So you said you're first generation from India to Canada.
Yeah, so I was born in Canada. My older brother was born in India. They came over when he was about 2 years old. And then I was born in Canada. My sister was born in Canada. So, yeah.
Beautiful. Okay. And Rick, you're 5 generations removed from Fiji.
No, from India. Like so.
Oh, India.
So, yeah. So we're from Fiji Islands, but it was the Indians that were sort of transferred to Fiji by the British as they colonized the Fiji Islands, right? So we were so my family was one of the families that went over during the colonization of the Fiji Islands. But so I was actually born there, but I came here. I was only 3 when I came here, so I feel like I'm Canadian. Well, or I don't, I don't belong there. I belong here.
Yeah, we have a strong culture in our. We've tried to embrace the culture as much as we can, like in our own family, and our kids like the culture, and we celebrate Diwali in our home, and we the family values are kind of the key thing that we take from our culture, because family always it's such a huge part of our culture, and that's the biggest thing that we take from it, and the food, and we celebrate like both everything Indian, and we celebrate everything Canadian, North American, and our kids get twice as many celebrations. So they're like they like it too. They like having like ethnicity and not just having like a one, like they have a couple cultures they can call on. And then Rick's the Fijian culture is a little different too from Indian, so they're sort of they like having influences from both.
That's amazing. Yeah. Rick, can you tell me a little bit about your culture and how is it for your family?
So we're way more laid back, relaxed. We have the island feel, the island mentality, and it's a mix between like Hawaiian and East Indian. So that's what the culture is like. So we held on to all the traditions that we left India with. And they're so outdated now that, like, she laughs at them because the culture evolved in India, and we held on to
Oh,
that.
that's awesome. Can you give an example?
The 13 days.
Yeah, so for funerals, let's say, when we left, there was a 13-day sort of mourning and a transition period for the soul, for it to transition into its next stage, and we still practice that in the Fijian community, but the Indian community has, who has 13 days to do all that stuff? We're going to, make it 3, right? So because everyone's lives got busier, so it was fine when life was slower and, most people were at home or had the time to, but in this today's busy life, it's not, they modified that.
And the shaving the head too, like
yeah.
So when Rick's dad passed away, he shaved all that hair off his head. Yeah, so
Rick,
that was,
you shaved it.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and it's part of the culture, just a symbol of being in mourning, and so, but also this. So we still practice those 13 days, the shaving of the head, those traditions, even though they haven't been practiced in India for
and
generations.
Maybe, and depending on what part of India,
then,
they might still be, like in smaller villages and stuff like that.
Yeah, and then we have like let's do the luau's and things like that, and we eat lots of like different foods, and Indians are mostly vegetarians. Right?
Yes!
So we have that, like cooking underground and banana leaves and
okay. You guys are segueing me perfect alignment into my set of questions.
All right.
I want to know about the food. Can you please share with me your favorite food, your favorite recipe that either of you cook, or a family tradition that you love, or something you could share with me about food?
We do a lot of cooking, actually. Like, we have so many kinds of food that we make at our house, like you name it. Like we just, and our kids actually like to cook too. So let's see, a favorite one.
I'll go with my go-to is chow mein, even though it's not culturally Indian, but I just love the variety of vegetables, colors, flavors, and I can make a big wok of it, and family of 5, it can go a long way.
Yeah. And one of the things that I love that Rick makes, I think, is his butterfly prawns. So he gets jumbo prawns, and then he strips the back, and he flips them open, and he grills it with like a butter garlic, and they're just like to die for. He does a really good job, and with wine, and they're great. And for myself, I like to cook like with a lot of vegetables, like stews, soups. I make like for Indian food, I make dals, which are lentils, and veggie curries.
So I like when she cooks Indian food, because because we have a variety of food, like we do everything: Italian, Mexican, Spanish. So when she does cook Indian, I think it brings this homey feel into the home, and and then our kids are. Yeah, they enjoy it as well. So it's more. I like the food, but I think it's more of the
love.
Yeah. And what I feel inside that it brings in.
Yeah, and that's interesting that you say that, because I actually feel more love when I'm making Indian. So it's that energy transfer.
Oh, it's a thing.
Yeah.
I love that so much. All right. I have another question. It's kind of silly, but I'm really curious to what your answers are. If you could pick a superpower, what would that be? Rick's like, yeah.
Right now, mine would be the ability to go like that and have my videos edited.
Oh, I might be able to help you with that. That's awesome.
Yeah, well, I mean, I feel that I'm using my superpower, and that's just the ability to really um, be a man and be in this supportive energy, a loving, supporting energy, and not be worried about looking sensitive or because that used to bother me when people would say, "Oh, you're so sensitive," and I get mad. And now I think it's my superpower. But I don't that's my superpower, and I'm still wishing for that. So I wouldn't want anything, like I don't want another superpower.
Well, that's beautiful that you have that and you could show that and inspire others to feel the same. Can you give us like maybe one way that you've helped accept that side of you to share with the world and what benefits you receive from it?
So yeah, being able to just show my affection in public, with other men, with other women, just this genuinely caring energy, and just people can feel compassion, and when you have that compassion and connect with someone, they can feel it, and so that's how I've done it, like in public. But I've also gone to the park. This is where it actually I truly think it shows. I'll go to the park and do a priming and then sit there with my hands on my heart. And I would have been so embarrassed to do that before, but because I'm doing it, or even in the, I took a bioenergy healing course, and I'll be in the hot tub and doing, like moving my energy, and people are like, but but I was okay. I'm okay with doing that, and I actually think, I know I'm inspiring other people to be themselves and be able to do that, because a lot of people would come up after and say, "Oh, so what was that you were doing?" And
I hear that a lot.
yeah,
It's beautiful.
yeah.
I love it. All right. So do you guys, I just want to thank you guys so much for just opening up, being vulnerable with me. I definitely just appreciate you so much. I got a lot out of this, and I'm grateful that you're my first couple.
Aw, and
We're honored to be on here.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Thank you so much for inviting us. I love what you're doing, and you've got a real gift yourself for doing this. And I can't wait to see how you grow with this. Like, I'm excited for you.
Thank you. Do you guys have anything else you want to share that's on your heart that could better support the audience? Any words of wisdom? Maybe something that like you realized lately that could help us all, like in relationships, or I don't know, something that really resonates.
I just think that there's a real, everybody has a gift and something within them. And we were all born for love and connection. We were all born, like there's not a single baby that doesn't come into the world that doesn't want and crave love and connection. And we're
hardwired.
And when we're at the end of our lives, when we're looking back, it's going to be, how much did we love? How much did we connect? And did we do that at a deep enough level that's truly going to matter? The quality of our lives, it will be our relationships. So I just encourage people to not be behind the fear, like feel the fear and do it anyways. Like just go and share your heart, because the heart, the power of the heart is so strong, so much stronger than the mind. And there's just so much more joy and so much more that we can experience in life when we truly do it from that place of heart and passion, and like from what's inside. And just, I would just say, live it from that place. That would be my words of wisdom.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, and I just like to end by saying, especially in relationship, and not only relationship with your significant other, but in relationships general, just to lead with compassion, You don't really know what's happening for the other person, and when you lead with compassion, there's this opportunity for something different to unfold.
Beautiful. Well, thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
I can't wait to share all the beautiful things that you're contributing. And if you guys haven't seen them and their love shine through their work and each other, I highly suggest that you follow them and, let them inspire you as much as they've inspired me. And I can't wait to share with you guys my next couple, which will be next week. And I hope you have an amazing rest of your Sunday. Thank you so much for watching. I love you all and have a beautiful evening. Bye, guys.
Bye.